Welcome to today's Explainer. We are jumping right into things today with one of history's absolute most fascinating character arcs. We're going to be unpacking Genesis chapter 24, diving into a story of love, manipulation, and family betrayal that has literally captivated people for millennia.
So, how exactly does a perfect romance end in deception? It's a question that hooks you right away, doesn't it? Today, we're tracing a narrative that kicks off with this beautiful, seemingly idyllic romance, but then it spirals into a deep psychological drama that completely shatters a family. Let's dig in and see exactly how things went so wrong. Section 1. The Search for a Bride. We're starting right at the chronological beginning. An aging Abraham realizes it's time to find a wife for his son Isaac. So he calls up his oldest, most trusted servant and sends him on a massive, grueling journey to Mesopotamia. Now, Abraham doesn't just send him out there blindly. No, he gives him some incredibly strict rules for this ancient matchmaking mission. The bride absolutely cannot be a local Canaanite woman. She has to be from Abraham's distant homeland. And here is the real kicker. Isaac must absolutely not leave his current land to go get her. I mean, think about the immense burden placed on this servant. He has to trek all the way across the ancient world and find the exact right person who fits all these parameters and who is actually willing to just up and leave with him. Which brings us to Section 2, the prayer by the well. After this insanely long and exhausting journey, the servant finally arrives at a well outside the city of Nahar just as the sun is setting. And at this moment, realizing the sheer impossibility of his task without a little help, he shifts his reliance entirely to divine providence. Facing this monumental task, the servant comes up with a hyper-specific test. He prays that he's going to ask a young woman for a drink of water. But she can't just say yes to him. She has to offer water to him, and then, completely unprompted, volunteer to water all of his camels too. He is setting an incredibly high bar for whoever happens to walk up to that well next. And well, a young woman named Rebekah walks up to the well. The servant asks for a drink, and she gives it to him. But she doesn't stop there. Just like he prayed for, she offers to water his camels. And we're not just talking about 1 or 2 animals here, 10. She manually hoisted water from a well for 10 thirsty camels that had just trekked across a desert. To put that into perspective, that is a massive amount of water and physical labor. It brilliantly showcases not just her hospitality, but her unbelievable physical strength and an unparalleled work ethic. Section 3. Rebekah's decision. Convinced she is absolutely the one, the servant immediately gifts her some heavy gold jewelry. This shifts our focus over to Rebekah's family dynamics. When she runs home to tell her family about what just happened, her mother and her brother, Laban, immediately step in to take control of the negotiations. So, the servant explains his mission and says he wants to leave with Rebekah immediately, the very next morning. But, as you might expect, there's some family hesitation. Her mother and brother push back, basically saying, let the young woman stay with us a few days, at least 10. Suddenly, we have this real moment of tension. The arranged marriage is on the verge of being stalled out, and the entire mission could fall apart if they lose momentum here. The family decides the only way to settle this is to call Rebekah in and ask her directly what she wants to do. And her response? It's simple and it is iconic. I will go. This brilliantly highlights Rebekah's defining early trait. Faced with her family's hesitation and the terrifying prospect of leaving literally everything she has ever known behind, she is bold, independent, and highly decisive. Moving on to Section 4, Isaac's Love. After a very long journey back, Rebekah finally arrives. As she's approaching, she spots Isaac out meditating in the field in the evening. It's this quiet, reflective, and honestly, deeply romantic moment in the source text. To truly appreciate this moment, we need a little bit of cultural framing. See, in our modern concept of romance, love grows first, which eventually leads to marriage. But in ancient marriage, the marriage was arranged first, and it was expected that love would follow. Couples basically had to learn to love each other after the vows were made. It definitely wasn't a guarantee. But for Isaac and Rebekah, that connection was immediate. Isaac is portrayed in our sources as a deeply introverted, reflective, and emotional guy who is actually still grieving the heavy loss of his mother, Sarah. In Rebekah's bold, energetic presence, he finds this profound love and healing. They were, by all accounts, a perfect match, which, unfortunately, makes the coming plot twist way more tragic. Part 5. The Secret Deception.
Let's fast forward 20 years. The couple struggles with infertility for a long time, but eventually, Rebekah gives birth to conflicting twin boys, Esau and Jacob. And right here, the tone of our story radically shifts from a perfect romance into a really dark, cautionary tale.
Now notice how the family dynamics have completely shifted. Isaac is introverted and reflective. Rebekah is extroverted and active. Earlier on, these differences perfectly complemented each other. Now, they're dividing the household. Isaac favors the rugged hunter Esau. Rebekah favors the quiet, homebound Jacob. The exact traits that once made them a perfect match have mutated into fatal flaws. Isaac is ignoring God's prophecy about the younger brother ruling the older, while Rebekah, she's decided to rely entirely on her own schemes.
Isaac's priorities have become completely misplaced. Knowing he's nearing the end of his life, he gets ready to give the ultimate family blessing to his older son, Esau. And why? Simply because he wants a tasty meal of wild game. It highlights the severe spiritual blindness. But Rebekah, who has always been the listener and the active force in the house, overhears this whole thing, and she decides she's going to take matters into her own hands to make sure Jacob gets that blessing. She crafts this absolute masterclass in deception, dressing Jacob up in Esau's clothes and preparing the wild game meal herself. Jacob is terrified, totally worried his dad will figure it out and curse him instead of blessing him. But Rebekah shuts him right down with this dark, commanding line, "Let your curse fall on me, my son. Just listen to me." That decisiveness we admired earlier, it's now turned into a dangerous, sweeping control over her entire family. And the craziest part is the deception actually works. Isaac is completely fooled and gives the blessing to Jacob. But the tragic fallout of this lie is absolute. Esau is so enraged that he plots to murder Jacob. To save his own life, Jacob is forced to flee far, far away to his uncle Laban. And the most heartbreaking consequence of all? Rebekah never sees her favorite son again. Her plan technically succeeded, but her family was permanently shattered.
Finally, Section 6, the lesson of trust. When we take a step back and analyze the theological and moral takeaways from the source material, what we're really looking at is a fascinating study of character flaws and human nature.
You see, Rebekah fell into a classic moral trap, believing that the end always justifies the means. The sources actually point out that God was on Rebekah's side regarding who should get the blessing. It was already prophesied that Jacob would lead, but she lacked the faith to just let the process unfold on its own. Doing things without trusting the timing and forcing your own will, even if your goal is technically the right one, well, that almost always invites suffering.
Which leaves us with this final, really provocative question to reflect on. Think about it. In your own life, do you trust the process and the guidance you've been given, or do you use your own strength and schemes to force the outcome you want? It is such a powerful lesson from a truly unforgettable story. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this leaves you with something profound to chew on today.